James Comey and Letitia James, two of the, lawfare style charges that Donald Trump's Department of Justice then put on these two folks because he doesn't like them. James Comey was the first to talk about it. I want to show you guys what it is that he said.
I'm grateful that the court ended the case against me, which was a prosecution based on malevolence and incompetence, and a reflection of what the Department of Justice has become under Donald Trump, which is heartbreaking. But I was also inspired by the example of the career people who refused to be part of this travesty. It cost some of them their jobs, which is painful, but it preserved their integrity, which is beyond price. And I know they will serve again. This case mattered to me personally, obviously, but it matters most because a message has to be sent that the President of the United States cannot use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. I don't care what your politics are, you have to see that as fundamentally un-American and a threat to the rule of law that keeps all of us free. I know that Donald Trump will probably come after me again, and my attitude is going to be the same. I'm innocent, I am not afraid, and I believe in an independent federal judiciary, the gift from our founders that protects us from a would-be tyrant. It's time to stand up and show the fools who would frighten us, who would divide us, that we're made of stronger stuff, that we believe in the rule of law, that we believe in the importance of doing things by the law.
Called these guys fools, called a would-be tyrant of the President of the United States. He went in as far as much excitement as he could build there. He's apparently relieved based off of this, but at the same time, he was pointing out how he always had faith in the fact that things would go the way that they should go. Let's jump to the way that Fox News talked about it, because it's always fun to see them report this type of news that they kind of don't want to report.
Lindsey, forgive me, but we have some breaking news. We'll come right back. A Fox News alert. The case against former FBI Director James Comey is getting dismissed. The judge ruling the appointment of interim U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan violated the Constitution. The judge also criticized the DOJ for allowing an FBI agent who viewed Comey's privileged materials to testify to the grand jury. Now, the judge also tossed the case against Letitia James.
Damn, it's like 2 strikes in one day for these guys. There wasn't much excitement on the couch there in the panel from Fox News. Both Letitia James and James Comey cases dismissed. But there's a little couple more details as far as the differences between these two and the potential of what is that might happen afterwards. Kyle Cheney is a senior legal affairs reporter for Politico, and he always talks about some of these things, goes through in depth the nature of a lot of these cases and things that are happening. So I want to show you guys what it is that he said that shows what it is that we could see later. So he says the criminal cases against both Comey and Letitia James are gone. Wow. A federal judge ruled that the appointment of Lindsey Halligan as the lead prosecutor was illegal. DOJ could try again, but there are other headwinds. Here's more from Kyle Cheney. Judge Curie, who made this decision, basically slams the door on re-indicting Comey here. She notes that, quote, there's no legitimate peg to extend the expired September 30th statute of limitations. The window for James, though, is a little bit wider. So that is the difference in those two particular cases, which, again, more information about Letitia James and what is that she said, and also what is it they're looking to continue to come after her for if they choose to go that route. But I'm not sure if you guys were following as this was falling apart. I saw some of it falling apart like a week or two ago. I had some of these interactions and descriptions ready, and I said, you know what? I'm going to hold on this first, because I'm going to wait until this whole thing falls apart before I really let you guys know what it is that Lindsey Halligan was up to and how everyone kind of saw the writing on the wall that this wasn't going to get all that far.
Tonight, the Justice Department is defending its handling of those grand jury proceedings against the former FBI Director James Comey after the prosecutor who brought the case made a pretty stunning admission inside court to the judge today that the full grand jury never actually reviewed the final indictment against Comey, which accuses him of lying to Congress. There was silence in the federal courtroom as Lindsey Halligan, who had never prosecuted a case before she became this district's top federal prosecutor in September, told the judge that she didn't present the new indictment to the grand jury after it declined to approve one of the 3 counts. The second and final indictment was simply altered to reflect the remaining charges and sent straight to the grand jury's foreperson to sign instead. Now, Comey's lawyer seized on that revelation in court today, arguing that it means there is, quote, no indictment here. The Justice Department, though, has been defending Lindsey Halligan, and in a new filing tonight, they write that the U.S. attorney did not misstate the law, the grand jury was not misled, and the transcript shows a routine, regular presentation of the indictment.
It goes back to the whole theme here. We just saw and heard exactly what is that happened in court, how Lindsey Halligan screwed the whole thing up because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. It's kind of not even her fault. She doesn't know what she's doing. So in messing that whole thing up, even afterwards, the government, Donald Trump's administration, still talking about nothing was done wrong. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The case was only thrown the F out. Why would anyone claim that something was done wrong? Everything was done on the up and up. Here's someone else that actually knows what they're talking about. Harry Littman explained the situation in the court, also with Caitlin Collins here, and the embarrassing nature of what is that could happen. You know, like if you're standing in front of someone and you're trying to make a presentation and you have nothing in your brain, and then the heat starts running over your head and the embarrassment hits your soul.
As a matter of prosecutorial practice, a huge deal. It was a sort of silent gasp in the courtroom. No one had ever heard of this. The magistrate, 2 days ago, had said this would be uncharted territory. When you look at what the DOJ has filed tonight, there's a chance, based on the law, that they can wriggle out of it. But I'll tell you what's a really big deal, and you just cited it when the DOJ said she didn't make any misstatements to the jury, to the grand jury, because we know she did, at least the magistrate said so, about some really important matters.
So explain to those of us who didn't go to law school why that is such a big deal, the way she handled that instead.
Because you have a grand jury being misinformed about the Fifth Amendment rights of Jim Comey, and also she said, oh, even if there's not enough here, we've got other stuff. But the grand jury, of course, must indict based only on what they hear from her. And why that really matters, Caitlin, is because the law says that means you can throw out the indictment with prejudice unless they can show it was harmless beyond a reasonable doubt.
Oh, they threw it out. So when you see the situation that happened in court, at least according to what the Harry Littman was talking about there's like a hushed gasp and silence over the court. I guess it's a pretty big deal. I'm no attorney. I know about as much as Lindsey Halligan knows about these types of things. But they just send her ass in there. I really do wonder, though, what's the plan? Like, they know she doesn't know what she's doing. They know that they threw her in there because the original guy that he appointed there out in Virginia to carry out this, revenge case said, hell no. They know all of this. It's just, it's like sloppy authoritarianism. One more, because I liked the way that this attorney, Elise Adamson, talked about all of the issues that Lindsey Halligan had in court and the way that they bungled this.
Yeah, Audie, we just spoke about this a couple of days ago. I told you that I thought the case was a choose your own adventure of procedural errors. And here we are, because this was a huge one. And as we also discussed, Halligan being appointed after the 120 days of the interim appointment had been exceeded was a huge problem. And indeed, the court agreed that she wasn't lawfully appointed. And the problem here is that Halligan did everything on her own. And so now these indictments can't stand. Usually DOJ follows proper process and procedure. And now we see what happens when DOJ attempts to do an end run around those procedures. The cases have now been dismissed and probably delivered a humiliating defeat to the Trump administration.
Humiliating, bro. Just another one. Let's keep the track record in the forefront of our minds. I mentioned it last week as well, too. Maybe it was the week before. It doesn't matter. It keeps happening. They keep talking about how well they do in court. I think it was actually specifically Howard Lutnick talking about their chances for the Supreme Court to rule in their favor when it comes to these tariff cases. He says, we win in court. We're ready in court. Bro, you guys never, ever win in court, even with someone who's actually an attorney and not named Lindsey Halligan, who doesn't know what they're doing. They just say everything is going to go well, and they believe that enough people will think, even after we see the results, that everything somehow went well. Here's another flashback. It went a little even further back. When the questions started being asked about Lindsey Halligan, this was Pam Bondi's defense.
The Comey indictment's going to be just fine. I've also signed on to that, backing up what Lindsey Halligan did, because they're coming after her. I read all the transcripts. She's doing a great job.
By the
All
way,
of our U.S.
the
attorneys
latest
are.
court filings, to me, as a layman, extremely damning as it relates to James Comey.
It's weird. Like the whole purpose here on Fox News and other places like this is not to acknowledge reality. So Pam Bondi said, everything looks great. I have full and utter confidence in Lindsey Halligan. Sean Hannity knows that that's crazy. He knows. He understands the situation, but the point is to try and smooth over and make really bad decisions and incompetence look like it's something good. So yes, I mean, I've looked over this. Looks like they really got him nailed down. So after this happened, I didn't watch Sean Hannity last night. I'm not sure if he came forward and said, I was wrong. I'm not sure how I missed the fact that Lindsey Halligan had no clue what she was doing would result in them dropping these cases. I didn't know how I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should stop talking about these things. Maybe I shouldn't be asking a corrupt Pam Bondi who's doing the bidding of Donald Trump whether or not she has confidence in it, knowing that if she says she has no confidence in it, Donald Trump is going to throw some ketchup against the wall. So let me show you Lindsey Halligan in the form of Lindsey Halligan. She wasn't even talking about the cases here. This is from also a few weeks before that. This is who she is. I wonder if this is the way she spoke in court when she was trying to get these charges to come down that eventually got tossed out.
Yep, I think the fact that we had our country was involved in slavery is awful. No one thinks otherwise. But what I saw when I was going through the museums personally was an overemphasis on slavery. And I think there should be more of an overemphasis on how far we've come since slavery. Our country is a country of progress, and it's the greatest country in the world. And we should be able to take our kids, our students through the Smithsonian and feel proud when we leave. There's a lot of history to our country, both positive and negative, but we need to keep moving forward. We can't just keep focusing on the negative. All it does is divide us, and we really need to unite the country and focus on all the positive as we approach America's 250th birthday.
Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't respond to the actual words and the points that are being made by someone so ridiculous as this, but just really fast. If learning about the negative points of our history in this country divides people, the only way it divides them if there's people who don't want to hear about it or don't want to acknowledge it or don't want to change those things that are the dirty, disgusting aspects of our history. Why would learning from your mistakes, which they weren't mistakes, learning from your policies, direct policies to enslave people and use them to grow your entire country's wealth, if doing that divides people, the people that are divided on it and don't like it are people like you who don't know how to walk into a courtroom and discuss what it is that they're doing.